A new suspect, but this one refuses to talk. This case is more interesting than I first imagined.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the 3rd one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
So we know that these 3 are the first 3. And we know that blue is the 3rd one, as well as the first, as you can see from this image. Orange is 4th after blue. Followed by clear, orange, and then clear.
Done. Now I can proceed further. Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery. I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
Hid what well exactly? So now I need to establish whether Nelligan was guilty or innocent. We know Nelligan was there, there's no denying that, and he was there to pick up the paperwork. Well, at least the tin box. But there is no real motivation that we know of for him to murder Peter Carey. I mean, he's quite young, and I don't think he'd have the physical strength to throw a harpoon through another person. Okay, he may have been lucky, but I really doubt it in this case. And if you see a big man like Peter Carey imposing against you, then I'm sure Nelligan probably would have ran rather than picked up a harpoon and just chucked it at the guy. So I think Nelligan is innocent in this case. He was definitely there, but he's definitely not really the killer that I believe he's not. Okay, let's go and speak to our friend Hurtley.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
Oh, really? For some reason, Hurtley's face is quite jerky in this segment.
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
You and your crested tits?
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
I did as you asked, and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee. Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh, my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam. Let's see what could be hidden here. Let us see what is in this box.
What we need to do here is match up these tumblers. The easiest way to do it is to set the tumblers this way.
Bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting.
Bruises fade. Poor Mrs. Carey. No one deserves that kind of treatment.
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Thank you, madam. I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see.
Right, so we need to search for a name amongst this list. And there are several clues that lead us here. Firstly is the tobacco pouch, which had the initials PC, which could mean Peter Carey, but apparently Peter Carey does not smoke anymore. So it could be Patrick Cairns, or, forgive my pronunciation, Pablo Coventrero. Both are harpooners, but Pablo died a week ago, apparently. And also, Patrick Cairns was in the ship's logs as well, so he was on board with Peter Carey. So this is our man.
This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch. Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
What happened to Wiggins' chin? So before we go to the Sea Witch, we need to do some more deducing. Firstly, we need to piece together the relationship between Judith and Mr. Hurtley. Well, there is motive there, especially if he loves the lady that is being abused. We have already established that Liam Hurtley has been on the property itself, but there isn't really anything there to say he was in the, what do I call that little outhouse? Well, an outhouse, I guess. There's nothing there to say he was there that night. And there has been evidence of them flirting or having some kind of relationship, but there's nothing there to say they went beyond writing correspondence. I'm sure Hurtley was jealous, but probably not enough to kill. There is motive there, especially if he knows that Judith was being abused, but as I said, there's nothing there to to say he is the actual guilty party. But the last thing here, as I said, there was a tobacco couch there with PC on the initials, and Peter Carey is not a smoker, apparently. Well, he used to be, but he is no more.
If I wish to speak to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor.
Let's go for the biggest, bushiest beards on the list. There we go. Let's live up to some stereotypes.
Now I can approach Cairns and see if he recognizes the pouch. Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
We've heard all about the gambling on arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
I start at 10 shillings.
Suits me.
So, we have to beat this guy at 2 rounds of arm wrestling. And the first time I tried this, I lost about 3 times in a row. And then the first time I won took about 10 minutes. But hopefully it's not going to take too long, as I have had a little bit of practice. So what we need to do is keep an eye out for his facial expressions. When he's grimacing, he's either trying to push us back or trying to endure our pushes. When he is not grimacing, that's when we need to, well, push him back. We do have a stamina bar, which we need to keep a close eye on. But once you've learned the mechanics, it's not too hard.
You were lucky. I wasn't focused. Let's go again.
I'll do the portrait afterwards.
I'm ready to try again.
Fine. If you want me to take all your money, no problem with that. Well, good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look. Here's your 10 shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink. You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Not all that much.
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner. But you see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
A harpooner. Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Ah, of course. It's been a dozen years since I've sailed. I've seen everything. Old Wallace, damn Black Peter, Great Roger. We sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
Black Peter, you say? I've heard rumours about that one.
He was the worst of them all. He was a liar, and violent too. Swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant, and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
Tell me, and let's have another drink.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she'd foundered, and they made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
And who was he?
I dunno. During the crossing, he and the skipper enjoyed some long talks. His baggage was just a tin box.
That's strange enough.
Aye. Even stranger was that on the second night, he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. And of course, nobody could ask Black Peter about it.
You know what happened, don't you?
I do. I saw the skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail in the middle of my watch on that dark night. 2 days before we sighted the Shetland lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye. And those that know him wouldn't be surprised to hear it. But all this must stay between us. All right?
Of course. Back in a second. I'm off to the Kazi.
I'll be here with my drink.
And I go to the the Kazi, sorry. And for those of you who don't know what a Kazi is, it's slang for toilet. Let's just hope he's drunk enough not to actually notice this. Or realise that his pouch is now back upon his person.
Here it is. Have you got any tobacco? I've run out of mine.
Nah, I lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is this your tobacco pouch?
Well, oh, it is.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name. He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners. I'll tell him about you.
Maybe. If you like, aye.
I'm done here. It's time to leave.
So we have determined Nelligan's innocence and Hurtley's innocence. Now it's time to decide the fate of Patrick Cairns. Now, the pouch definitely proves he was there, but it also proves his guilt as well. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because Cairns is, as you can see, down on his luck. And he knows a secret about Carey, so we can only assume that Cairns went there to blackmail Carey, and Carey was drunk and enraged, and I'm guessing Cairns did act in self-defense in some ways, or he himself got angry. But either way, Cairns is a harpooner, and he's experienced with harpoons. I mean, that goes with the title, I suppose. And Carey was killed with a harpoon. So, Cairns is guilty. Wait. Oh, okay. Now this is part of the game which I don't really... Well, I'm not overly happy with this part of the game, as we have to decide whether we are going to condemn him or absolve him. We can put him down as a cold-blooded murderer, or a victim of circumstances, again, where he acted in self-defense, it was not premeditated. He did go there to blackmail Cairns, but he would not get money off Carey. Sorry, Cairns went to Carey's to blackmail him. I will get these names correct. But Cairns would not get money off Carey if he was dead. So I don't think he actually went there to actually kill him in cold blood. But I'm probably going to go through the absolve route throughout all of these cases, as Holmes is here for the facts. He's not here for the judgment. That's down to the police and the courtrooms. So I'm most likely going to be going to absolve throughout each of these cases. I mean, Holmes does have his opinions, but he is there strictly for the facts and to let the people doing their job to do their job.
Good afternoon. I must be at the wrong address. I'd like to speak with a ship's captain, a Captain Ahab. Is that you?
No, my name is Sherlock Holmes.
That detective fella? So, you wanted to see me?
That is correct. We need to talk.
About what?
About Black Peter, who was killed in his own hut with a harpoon.
You know, don't you?
Yes.
How?
The tobacco pouch. You recognized it.
Oh, the sailor. It was you. Unbelievable. Well, fine. I confess. But if you really do know everything, you should also know that I didn't want to kill him. He made me do it.
I know. Did you know about this story with the bond certificates? Did you need money?
Yeah. I just wanted him to cough up a little silver. I'm out of work, and I thought maybe he could help me. Well, he refused outright, and he insulted me. I reminded him I knew all about that murder he committed at sea in 1883. Then he got mad when I spoke about his treasure. I barely just had time to throw the harpoon at him before he could jump at me with his knife. You know the truth. What will you do now?
I ask that you return the bond certificates. Keep some of them. You will need them in your exile. It is better that you leave the country for a few years.
And you won't say anything to the police?
I will not say anything as long as you return the money.
Well, I'll do as you ask. But what about Inspector Lestrade?
I will deal with him. Goodbye.
It's good that you asked me to come, Mr. Holmes. We do need to talk.
About what?
What do you mean? Our case, Mr. Holmes. You sent me a message via your little thug,
His name is Wiggins, Inspector.
telling me that the case is solved. Well, Mr. Holmes, tell me, who is our murderer and where is he?
The morgue.
Eh?
His name is, or rather was, Pablo Coventral. He was also on the ship with Peter Carey, and he was a harpooner. I'll tell you everything, Inspector, but do calm down. Mrs. Hudson will bring us tea and orange cake.
Orange cake? You're spoiling me, Mr. Holmes. That's my favourite.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Inspector Lestrade told me that I should thank you for clearing my name. He also said that you were waiting for me here. I came as fast as I could. I cannot thank you enough. It is all because of you that this nightmare is finally over.
I believe that this belongs to you.
My father's securities. Incredible! But how did you get them?
It would take far too long to explain.
Tell me. This is extraordinary. You are a genius.
Then that may serve as an explanation. Goodbye, Mr. Nelligan, and good luck.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes. And thank you. 1,000 times thank you.